Hi, this is Michał from Road Studio, and this is our development status update on roadtruckers New Beginning. This video is part 1 of 2. Part 1 will concern the game itself. Part 2 will be about our publishing process and other less exciting stuff, so it will be in Polish. Last week we had an open day at our office where people could just walk in, play roadtruckers New Beginning, and ask us anything. Today I want to show you what they saw and talk about the topics they brought up or considered important in the game. If we're talking about an overall impression of the game, I think our guests were surprised the most by the amount of details that we have, the amount of things usually not present in tracking games, or some things they saw for the first time in any game. Our user interface seemed to generally make a good impression, especially the cockpit interactions menu. It is an alternative to manually touching cockpit buttons using shortcuts or using the radial menu. The cockpit menu shows immediately how many interactions we have and lets you choose anyone quickly while retaining the immersion. The camera simply points at the button that you press. Players also noted the fact that you can use phones, fire a signal flare, or talk to a mechanic at a workshop. Talking with people actually was a big positive, I believe, especially the fact that you can talk about background stuff and not just tracking. It's all added for additional immersion, just like collecting newspapers or books in the game. Other small details noticed were the fact that cars kick off dust, or that you can move some things that have physics enabled on their models. For now, and maybe even for the full game, we have deliberately overdone traffic cone physics. We may adjust it to be more realistic, or we can leave it as it is now. I don't know what we'll do with it yet, because players had a lot of fun kicking them, and if the game makes you smile, I think that's a good reaction, so maybe we won't change that. Another well-received thing was player statuses and their visual depiction. We play as a tracker, not as a truck, so our character can get dizzy, catch a cold, or get exhausted. This changes the way we see the world, making it more difficult to play. In Road Trackers, you don't die when your health or energy reaches zero. Instead, you gain statuses which make it more difficult to complete the job. We designed it after getting feedback on Alaskan Road Trackers, where death could result in losing a lot of progress, which made players upset. In general, our guests who played Alaskan previously noted that New Beginning is more player friendly. We made efforts to make the introduction smoother and to adjust controls to different playstyles. We heard many positive comments about our we heard many positive comments about our visuals. Frankly, I don't think we're there yet in some respects, but it was nice to hear that the weather can completely change the atmosphere of the game, and to see the surprise at how different the same place can look. Cities being very different and having their own atmosphere were also something that I'm glad that players noticed. The style of our menus was another noted positive, and this also goes for tutorials, which ease players into the game. I think this is where we have more work to do, but I'll talk about it in a minute. In general, I think that our guests were surprised at how complete the game looked in their eyes. They expected something more rough. It's true that we are far into production, but there's still work to be done. Our guests noticed that, for example, when it rains also in buildings, or that the interaction prompts can sometimes disappear. It can be difficult to point at a specific interaction in the track, and the look of the interactive mud could be better. Also, at times, AI cars look like they drive quite dangerously towards you. We have other things that we know we want to improve or add, despite them not really being mentioned by the guests during the open day. For example, we're starting another round of optimization. There's level design work left to do, especially on our second map. We want to test a solution for having crowds of people in the streets. We need to add interactivity to water. And also, we need to translate our game, which we're not doing yet because we're still adding side quests. The important thing is that this order of work is according to plan. Well, apart from the crowds, as this is something we just want to try and see how it works. But all the optimization, all the bugs to iron out aren't a big problem. It's just polishing, which is a normal part of development. I'd like to think that we've learned something after Alaskan Road Trackers, but of course, the game itself will prove or disprove it. For now, that's it. In the following video, in Polish, I would talk about what, when, and why we want to do in relation to the publishing work, including demos, playtests, and so on. So in short, we have a plan that I think is reasonable. The end goal is to make sure the players get a game that's affordable and feels like it's more than they paid for. So thanks for watching and see you next time.